All right, hello, everyone, it's silverkyle, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Wolverine Volume 3 Omnibus, which is slated to come out on January 17th, and this is the standard edition cover. And what I like to do when we have a series like this is take out the previous volumes to kind of show you what it would look like on the shelf. So if it looks like it's all the same, because there are a few differences here. And also the Volume 1 that I have is from a few years ago. I think 2020 is when it came out, that has the flat surface. So just bear that in mind. Like normally they're rounder, but this one is just exactly flat. It's not as noticeable, but if that's the version that you have, this is what it'll look like. So obviously the biggest thing here is that the Wolverine font is from the actual title instead of just this plain font. I do much prefer this version of Wolverine. And also for some reason, Volume 1 does not have the VOL. I don't know why they don't have that for this one, but there you go. So that's kind of it. For the most part, this is still, I don't mind volumes 1 and 2 kind of being plain, and then we go on to something that looks a lot nicer. It's just that as a collector, you're always going to have this, but this one isn't too bad. And I do very much like this font quite a bit more. So let's dive into what's included in the book. All right, so now we'll take a closer look at the book itself and see everything that's collected in it. Once again, the spine. Wolverine in his brown and yellow suit. So because it's late 80s, or I think this is actually 1990 to 1992, we do get the parental advisory, and this collects Wolverine, bring it up a bit, 31 to 59, Wolverine Bloody Choices, Wolverine Ron of Terra, Ghost Rider, Wolverine Punisher, Hearts of Darkness, X-Men number 4 to 7, and 85 to 108, and then just the creators here. It is 125 in the US, 156.25 in Canada. I can't remember how much I paid for this one. I got it from Indigo and it was 35% off, so there you go. And that's also why I got it a little bit earlier. So now we're going to take a look at the flaps. So we've got the story on the left-hand side, the creators on the right. I really like these images of Wolverine. Wolverine is one of my favorite characters that I like to look at when they're drawn. Like, if that makes any sense. There's certain characters that I just like the look of. Wolverine is definitely one of them. His character is very interesting as well, but just looking at him is very appealing, in my opinion. Now, for the hardcover, go about somewhere in the middle, just so we can take a closer look at this. So this seems to be one of the new Marvel hardcovers that they're doing, is kind of just a bunch of different images from this era. It's pretty nice. I sometimes kind of like more when it's a wraparound like this from a specific image from this time. Granted, I mean, this is the early 90s, so wraparounds are a little bit more rare, but that's a really cool, nice image right there. It's nice stuff. And put it back and take a look. So, 1,264 pages, and honestly, it opens up quite nicely. And this is, once again, made from iMac in Turkey, so you kind of know what you're going to be getting into to a degree with iMac. Granted, they did a pretty good job with how it's built. The contents, yes, so September of 1990 up until August of 92 by the latest, it looks. Yeah. I'm thinking that this is all, like, by 92, I mean, I'm familiar with it from when I was an adult and seeing art from there, but that's much closer for when I was getting into comics. It was just a few years after this that I started diving in. So we dive right into Wolverine 31 here. And there is a bit of bleed through, but it's rare. I didn't find it as apparent in this book as I have from iMac. You can't really see much of it, but there's a little bit there. For the most part, especially later on in the book when there's a lot of color, you won't be seeing it. Yellow still happens sometimes. The art after about a quarter of the way through is where I start to really enjoy it. That's just random, but yeah, this I'm not the biggest fan of in terms of art. It's okay. I'll let you kind of know where it starts to pick up for me. So by the end of this, we're at 92, and I would say that maybe by volume 5, depending on how they map things out, 5 or 6 is where I would start to dive into it. This is very nice. This is much closer to my kind of Wolverine. Oops. So you can see a little bit in the background there. Come on, can you show me some art that I really, really like? Might be in the last half. Well, this I like too. That's very different right there. It kind of works for Wolverine and it kind of doesn't. It's over the top. Oh, black art. Anybody remember playing this character in Marvel Superheroes, or maybe Marvel vs. Capcom? I don't know. I think the one that I played was Marvel Superheroes. So it didn't have Capcom in it. I kind of liked that more, but he might have been in the Marvel vs. Capcom series as well. The fighting games on PlayStation 1. This is my Wolverine right there. That's this kind of art. These are probably the X. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is X-Men here. It has to be gorgeous. I mean, but that's that 90s X-Men like yeah, that's just such good stuff. So the last, I don't know, third or last quarter of it is where you start getting the Jim Lee art from X-Men. So that's, but this Wolverine stuff I still enjoy. Um, 1,264 pages as well. So it's rather thick. The Marvel's been doing a lot of big books lately, which means that they're stuffing a lot more, which is a positive because they're trying to get all the tie-ins. Just some of the, oh man, that's some nice Armada Jr. That's is it Warzone that he did? I'd like to have some more. I'd like to have some old Punisher Omnibus. That's nice. Those are nice too. And there you have it. So I'll just go into the middle-ish. And then we'll, that's close. About right there. And we'll take, just to show you that eye. All right, so we're mobile, and that's the kind of eye that we're dealing with. It's not popping out like a crazy amount, if I could focus. But as we saw, it laid open perfectly fine throughout the entire book. There you go. That is Wolverine Volume 3. Thank you all for watching. You have been bearded in. Beardage!